And
Yeah.
for me, Agentic AI is literally going to be within that same philosophy of building systems, specific agent that can do a specific job for you.
Agentic AI is generative AI plus a little bit of magic of automation. So let's say, for example, instead of writing an email, you're asking the tool to write the email and send it to 5,000 employees.
And I'm a firm believer that we can build $1 billion company alone in your basement.
Sometimes you might invest a lot of money in a tool, but that tool doesn't fit your business model, doesn't fit your business processes, as Steve shared with us.
Hey Mo, what if you can build a team of workers that don't complain and do exactly what you want at the right time and the right speed, or even faster? Would you like that for your business, my friend?
I love that. Interesting. Tell me more. Tell me more. I'm already sold.
This is Agentic AI. This is gigantic, if I can make that joke. So yeah, basically with Agentic AI, you're building an army of employees who can do very specific tasks for you, and they really understand the game. So, and we'll give some examples today. So, but what's your take on the agentic versus generative AI? We know generative can write emails and do great things and even more with images, but what's your take on the agentic as the next step?
Absolutely, absolutely, Steve. I think it will be a great idea to do a comparison between the two and provide our listeners some insights just so they can use these tools in their daily conversations and they can understand exactly how to implement them in their businesses. So initially speaking, anytime that you hear generative AI, please think about a tool that will enable you to generate text, audio, video, images. So you have multiple media content that can be generated using generative AI. Agentic AI is generative AI plus a little bit of magic of automation. So let's say, for example, instead of writing an email, you're asking the tool to write the email and send it to 5,000 employees at the same time without you doing anything, everything automated without your input. Wow, what a magical tool. So we are adding a little bit of the programming aspect to it, a little bit of reinforcement learning to it, and we are automating these tools to make it super, super easy for us. This is a really good opportunity for me to ask you, Steve, ask you, my friend, hey, how do you use these tools in your day-to-day businesses? I know you're doing great. We would love to know about them.
The thing is, one thing that I'm a fan of, and we'll do a podcast about that, is having or being a company of one. It doesn't mean to be alone and do everything yourself. It means having, as I said, an army of freelancers, collaborators, partners, tools, and having AI agents. And another big piece that we'll also do a podcast very soon is about building systems to build successful companies. And for me, Agentic AI is literally going to be within that same philosophy of building systems, specific agent that can do a specific job for you. It could be, example, taking care of your digital marketing. So you can build it. You can say, okay, you need to have this tone, as we do with generative AI, but also use that tool, this tool, and this tool, and it knows how to use it. It knows when to do it. And you can also look at the data, all the statistics about the performances of your posts, your images, vice versa, and also versus the algorithms of the social media. So for digital marketing, that's going to be very, very powerful. It is already, but it's going to be even more powerful because we're always progressing very quick with those agents. And if you look at it, is like a company of one having this army of collaborators, including AI tools and AI bots and or avatar and agent, but building systems as well. If you want to grow your business, you need to have that. I won't elaborate today, but I will, and we will eventually. But having a specific agent, AI agent doing something specific, for me, it's kind of building of a system. And in your company, you have like multiple of those small to medium-sized systems that you can always improve and improve. And the good thing about that is when you invest in developing an AI agent, unfortunately for some jobs from some people, it means replacing the people, and they always evolve, and you don't lose them to be hired and leave for another competitor. They stay and you progress. And obviously they can gel together knowing that somebody does in the marketing, have some stats, an AI agent, and he can share the information with another AI agent about, okay, prepare reports for the board of directors, example, related to the marketing statistics and the performances and other pieces of the ecosystem. And you can, that can do that all the time. And if you do certain things in other pieces, the agents are connected to everything in your company, so they can pick up new information. They can pick up information from the market, from what's going on, and help you to be more intelligent in your decisions. So it's kind of the next level of business intelligence. So that's what I see and what I'm seeing in the future for companies. And I'm a firm believer that we can build $1 billion company alone in your basement.
Wow, that is amazing input. I love that input, Steve, and I would like to share with our listeners that this is an opportunity to start dreaming a little bit about some business ideas that you might have, anything that you're thinking about building, and how you can leverage generative AI and AI agents in order to build your idea and your business. Using technology is a beautiful thing, and if you can use it in order to create a company that speaks to you, a company that makes you feel good, a company that makes you dream bigger, using a tool, as Steve mentions, from your basement, that is powerful, that is amazing, and that removes some of the excuses that we all have as human beings. Now you have a tool, it does the work, you just need to learn how to use it, and this is what we're going to provide, Steve and I, in some of our courses, where we're going to teach you how to use these tools and how to leverage them in your business and in your day-to-day activities. So even if you are an employee working with a company, it's always a good idea to understand, how can I automate my job and help myself grow as an individual? How can I learn? How can I be a better implementation of myself? Person A, person B, person C, so different people inside an organization all working together in order to increase productivity, and that's very important. Obviously, we're speaking to entrepreneurs in our podcast, but everybody is invited to join the show. Welcome to our TV show.
And one thing for us, for most of the people listening to this podcast, they can see that as being very, very overwhelming. That can be very, very complicated to think, where do I start? This is something I get almost every day. So where do I start, Steve? What should I do first? First of all, you can just have to sit down with a piece of paper or your tablet, if you're like me, and with your tablet, you just write down different processes you have in your company. I know perhaps you don't like the word process. I didn't like it before, but you need to understand it. You need to like it. And just by going and just following the sequence of, example, quote to cash. Sorry, it's more like, quote to cash, but the visitor on your website, what does it do? Where does it go? And at the end, down to when you get the money in your business bank account. So at this level, if you do that at a high level, you will see that certain things are ready to be improved. And by knowing this process strongly, you'll improve your business. So again, it doesn't sound like being agentic AI at this point, but this is exactly what you need to do as a prior step before being able to implement a new thing or to automate anything. This is the first step, I would say. The second step is make sure that, we hear so many things and we see so many things about AI being this and that, and it's like very powerful and that should do everything. I'm a firm believer as well that you need to have some control points, some checkpoints where the human can intervene. And this way you can approve and approve. And if you see that the approval from the human being, you or somebody else who is skilled to do it at this point, and somebody else can be skilled at another point. But at this point, you do it. And if the percentage of approval gets to 100%, it means, okay, you can remove that checkpoint. So this way you have more checkpoints at the beginning to make sure that it doesn't do something weird or something against your businesses. Like example, spamming people with certain things. If we go back to the campaigns in the digital strategy. So we have to be careful about that and make some control points. So this is all about design and the same thing. So, and you can remove those checkpoints, and that, let's say, quote to cash process becomes less cumbersome, and you can work on another process. So basically, it's you are one process away to improve your business and be more successful in your business.
That's so true, Steve. And I would love to share with our listeners that thanks to you, Steve, thanks to your mentorship, I learned this strategy of, first of all, thinking about the money in your bank account, then going from there to each one of the steps. And trust me, it works, it works, it works. And I am a huge testament to that operation working, because after talking to you, Steve, after your mentorship, I learned how to implement that in different contracts with different businesses that I'm working on currently. And it definitely works because I had a clear goal of building a process, a system that is scalable, using technology, and of course, controlling everything. So I can scale my business, I can scale the number of contracts that I can operate myself, and I can, of course, automate many tasks because now I have a process. And before that, I used to think, well, a process, who needs that? But now, after our conversation, I sat down, pen and paper, started writing it down, money in the bank. And then from there, what's the step before? What's the step before? Just like an algorithm, just like a step-by-step process. And I always tell my friends and my colleagues and my business partners and my clients, always think about how you open a door. The example of opening a door, taking the key from your pocket, pushing it in the door, turning the key, then taking your hand up. Every step matters, and every detail of how do you take the key? What's the hand gesture that you're making? If you can think like that, your business is going to be so successful. And that's what we want. And that's what Steve and I are trying to do with Make Tech Work for You. Entrepreneurship is your life. So let's do it.
And if you want, I mean, I'm not. We're not selling anything. We're not promoting any products here. But
Absolutely.
Syntra.ai is doing a lot of promotion, at least on Instagram. This is what I see often. And you can kind of see how they do. They have like small robots, figures, and they are dividing, like this robot does that thing, this one does that thing. So again, if you want to know, if you hire somebody, example, a real human, to do everything, example, like somebody who's very skilled at many things, that's great. But for AI agent, it needs to be more specific. So it's not something that if you go too wide, you're kind of diluting. So you can be very precise at the beginning. Again, keep it small and build on it. And what I like to talk about is having, if you have a big project, which is, example, improving your company, make it more, adding more automation to your company to save time, save money, and make more revenues and profits. One thing you have to do is you need to divide it in smaller pieces until you really understand it. And if you do that, you can improve it in different ways. And Agentic AI will fit right in there just to align with everything else. And you have multiple agents specific to you. And that's going to be awesome. It's going to be like, it's a bit scary for some people, but very awesome in terms of efficiency and quality of it. In my case right now, what I have in OpenAI, I have a pro account. I have like multiple GPTs depending on different projects. And within those projects, I have a specific chat that I'm keeping open. So this way I can really be quick. I don't need to put back the context, but we'll still talk about generative AI. Agent will be able to pick up and do different things on the web for us. I mean, that's going to be crazy. So I'm sure we'll do another podcast later about Agentic AI and where is it, where it's going, and with a few examples from us and from collaborators and even from the web, but something closer to our audience, being close to entrepreneurs and SME owners.
Absolutely, Steve. Absolutely, Steve. And I think it's always a good idea to experiment. I cannot stress this enough. Always experimenting with different tools and different technologies is a great idea because it enables you as an individual to know what's available out there in the marketplace. And I learned this very, very, very early on in my life as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. Experimenting with different tools is always a good idea. And learning, the growth mindset, always learning about new tools and new technologies. Let me learn. Let me keep learning. Obviously, you're going to fail, but hey, it's okay. It's just another day for you. Move on, keep going, keep pushing forward. And failure is part of the process, especially when using technology. Sometimes you might invest a lot of money in a tool, but that tool doesn't fit your business model, doesn't fit your business processes, as Steve shared with us. But the idea is just drop it and move on to the next one. Don't keep investing. Don't keep trying to make it fit. Don't keep just putting money on that tool, hoping one day it will work. Maybe there is something free available in the marketplace that can do the job 10 times better, 20 times better. So think about your business as the main event superstar, and anything else is an accessory that you're going to add.
Yeah, no, well said, well said. And maybe on the last word regarding this is don't believe that AI will do everything for you. Don't believe in one event that will bring your company to the success. It's a sequence of processes, well understood, well divided in smaller pieces to bring any improvements, including agentic AI, generative AI, maybe something even simpler, in some cases. We're not saying that you should put that everywhere, especially at the beginning. So go step by step, but keep learning about it, and make sure that you get all the information you need. And slowly but surely, that's going to be like natural and automatic for you to think AI and agentic AI, and you'll see exactly where it fits, and you'll stay competitive or even become more competitive, more successful, and bring more money to your company and your people, and perhaps having more time in your life as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, Steve. I totally agree with that point. And I think so many times we see these new developments in AI, and they can either be implemented or they can be feared. I noticed so many times during my consultations, some of my clients, they ask me, how can I add this tool to my current tech stack? So my current technology stack. And the idea that I tell them is, does it fit what you need currently? Are you able to scale using the current tools that you have? Then after that, we move on to the next step, which is how can you use this tool in order to, one, make more money? So the idea, of course, any business cannot survive if the income and the revenue is not there. So can it help you make more money? Can it help you make your current customers, perhaps base, happier, even better? Add something to them. I love, Steve, the feeling of when a company gives you something for free, gives you an extra service, you're like, wow, look at this. They're taking care of me. There is an extra step here. You feel that they're really thinking about you in a deeper level. So if we can use AI, just an extra tool, to help them, to make them really feel great, that is so powerful. And that's, I think, the trend, because so many times, Steve, if we go to the marketplace, we see a lot of AI agents and generative AI tools open source. Currently, with the news that we see in the world that we live in, so many companies are like, hey, we're going to give it for free. It's open source. You can deploy it. You don't have to pay us. It's all good. So this open source mindset is an opportunity for the small players in the marketplace, an opportunity for SMEs, as you said, Steve, for them to jump in. Because before it used to be, wow, I need $3 million in order to build an infrastructure. Nowadays, you just need the right brain, the right time, the right hustle, the push every single day without coaching, without having that quit mindset, just the focus mindset, the very energetic mindset to make it work. And you will make it work. And I'm an example of that. I definitely use technology in my advantage, and it really showed me the beauty of the world, the power of the world that we live in. And I never forget that there is a big difference between the offline world and the online world. And the offline world is the real world, and the online world is just a virtual world, zeros and one, computers, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. No, and if I go back to, it makes me smile about the 0 and 1, because if you look at big projects, and you go back to what I said about dividing them in pieces you can swallow, like the expression of you don't eat the whole pizza at once, but you have a bite of a slice of the pizza. But I said, what I like to say is you go on with this big tech project, and you bring it down to one and zeros, and after that, in those pieces, and you put back those pieces together to rebuild your project. This is kind of the engineering mindset, to build and not being afraid of big projects. And it's a long-term process, and digital transformation is a journey, not a one-time event. So hopefully our listeners will embrace this journey, and having some rewards along the journey. The journey is important too. And you don't only win at the end, you need to win all along, which I like to call quick wins, which I didn't invent that, but quick wins. And we build on that, and the confidence of the customers, the confidence of the employees. So you can improve the customer experience and the employee experience with the right business intelligence as well. So all these things can be brought up. And so anyways, I think that we cover like maybe an intro to agentic AI. and eventually we'll do something even deeper. What do you think?
Absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. I think maybe in the next episode, we can even invite an expert who's currently building these tools from one of the big players. Why not? And then we can have a conversation with them. It's going to be a win-win for the company because they get to perhaps get their product out there in the marketplace. And of course, our listener can get a deeper insight of what's really going on underneath the hood. That's a really good idea. Maybe as a question, Steve, something came to your mind that I would love to ask you. So how do you see the future of both AI agents and generative AI as a business owner yourself? I think you have a good eye on the future. We always had amazing conversations about the future. So how do you see the future of these two technologies, and what can you predict for our listener as a business owner? Should they be careful about something, or should they just embrace and just jump in, man?
Thank you. I'd say that, I think human beings are always afraid and resistant to changes all the time. And sometimes they're very pessimistic about what's new, and when it goes quick, like AI, after like 18 months, it has been like a big wave of new things, new companies, and new investments and all these things. So I'd say that generative AI is only one step, because the agents are using generative AI. So basically, agents or agentic AI is above generative AI in terms of hierarchy. So that's only one tool, but obviously the agents can play with other tools. So logically, generative AI will improve, and that's going to help the agents, the AI agents, to be better. But the connections with AI agents to other tools will also improve. So overall, that's going to be crazy, all the connections. We think about, on a technical term, like API to connect a tool with another one. And this way they can do a very nice integration. They can talk to each other, which is great. But what's going to happen is the agents will talk even better and easier with certain tools. And those tools will become very popular. And this is the one that we have to follow. And if you have some money, you can invest in those. And this way we are going to take advantage of all these connections. And that's going to go crazy. A lot of VCs and investors are putting a lot of money into these things. So that's going to be a big game changer. So we're not done. We are only at the beginning.
That's so true. That's so true, Steve. And I agree with you. In terms of technology, I always say to different people that I interact with, think about it, how it works, then implement it. So obviously, as you said, Steve, if the generative AI or the core engine improves, automatically the AI agent will improve by definition. But I still believe, from my experience, from my expertise, we will need to have some controlling mechanism in place, especially in the financial industry or industries where a decision is a game changer. So these industries, they will definitely need an extra layer of security to make sure that every decision is 100% secure, safe. It's the right move. It's the right decision, because as you know, human beings, we can double check, we can triple check, we can check with our managers, we can check with our colleagues. So we have some mechanisms in place before we can take an action inside an organization or a company. But these tools are automated. They have a logic, step 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. So they go really fast, in a very fast manner. And that's, of course, the speed benefits that we get from these tools. But the issue is, what if something goes wrong? What if an action was taken that should not be taken, for example, or an action that is not an intended action by our team, by our company, by our organization? And that is something that is a little bit risky. It's always good. I always say to anybody that I deal with, always understand the risk that you're taking in. Do you understand the risk? Are you comfortable with it? Go ahead. Go for it. Because it's a good idea, Steve. But yeah, Steve, I think you wanted to say something.
You can create an agent that will be the police of everything.
Yeah,
so the agent will keep track of everything happening and will report or stop certain things. So yes, you need to have some, I would say, protection mechanism in place. That could be human being, could be a human being at checkpoints. It could be agents double checking, could be thresholds level where everything blocks. So, but again, you need to understand what you're doing. It's not the AI that will develop that for you. It can help you to define what you need to put in place to protect your system, which is great. After that, you need to develop it and make it work. And generative and agentic AI can help to build that with you, for you. But again, I really like the Microsoft name about Copilot. This is what it is in terms of generative AI. And the agents will be very close to be the pilot, but the pilot of a specific task or set of tasks as well. So that's going to be very interesting. So we have to look at it as two things. Agentic AI is proactive versus reactive. Like generative is really for us to define everything. And the proactivity of the agents, we can have an analogy of like generative AI will write the song, but agentic AI will create the bands to make multiple songs.
I like that. I like that. Nice. Nice analogy. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you, Steve. Maybe another example for our users or our listeners would be so many times when you go to a chat GPT tool or Intropex or Gemini tool and you type in, what are the steps that I should take in order to build a mobile application? They will tell you, open this tool, write this programming language. These are, you need the logo, you need the backend, the front end, the features, etc. So it will give you all the steps. But you will be the one to build these steps. Step 1, open Android Studio. Step 2, write some Java code. Step 3, export the APK or the code itself. Step 4, deploy the mobile app. You have these steps. But nowadays with AI agent, these steps can be automatic. So the tool itself will open Android Studio for you, will add the code, will export the application, will then deploy the application or add the application to iOS Store and Play Store, and that's so on and so forth. I believe maybe the best protective mechanism that we can have in the marketplace is before execution, we have a list of steps. These are the steps. Do you agree? All right, go ahead. So I think maybe this is a really good idea to think about. Instead of just executing these steps, we need a list of steps just quickly. Step 1, do you agree with these steps that we have? Yes, I do. If you do, please click on the accept button. You click on the accept button and these steps will be automatically executed without any issues. So I really feel, especially in sensitive areas, like where it's a banking transaction, where it's something where there is no control Z, there is no going back. This is where it's going to be a little bit risky for the end users. And I always think about the end users. I always think about their well-being, making sure that everybody is all right, making sure that everybody is taken care of. So technology should be an addition to make your life easier, to make your life super, super easier. And I think that protective mechanism is going to be there. Obviously, over time, I know based on my AI experience that these tools, they get better. They learn from their mistakes. So if there is a mistake, it will be flagged, and that mistake will not be repeated in the future. So we will, I think, in the future, we are going to get to a level where we have some tools, some AI agents that are known to be 99.999% accurate, which means they have a 99.99% accuracy. That means they don't miss, they just execute without any issues. Why? Because they made the mistakes, because they use reinforcement learning, so they learn from their mistakes, and because we had a lot of human experts in the field, so financial advisors, for example, let's say banking experts, supply chain managers. So for every field, we are going to have an expert who's going to review these instructions and provide the compliance mechanism, provide the okay, to make it quite simple, for these tools to execute, to move forward, and to go ahead and do the work for us. And then the accuracy will increase. Obviously, Steve, I believe so many jobs are going to be automated, which is a sad idea, to be completely frank with you, Steve. When a job is automated, so many people, they will start, looking in the marketplace, earning, etc. So my advice to anybody that is listening to us right now, start learning today, not tomorrow. Start learning, take some time off, please. Take a book, read a little bit about AI, read a little bit about these tools. So when you talk to your manager, when you talk to people in your organization, you can bring that AI expertise. So your job will be something that can never be automated, because you already know these technologies and these tools. And please do not be afraid. These are just tools, technologies. It's nothing fancy. Read about them. And obviously, Steve, I think we're definitely going to build some amazing courses to simplify these things to our SMEs users. And that's something that we definitely have to talk about in the future.
You're a people person, Mo. You like people. You want to have people in there, so that's good. And that's true. I mean, it needs to be there, obviously. And regarding about automation, with the Google Notebook LM, you can generate a podcast just by talking about a topic. So even us we can be replaced in this podcast. So this is why we need to work hard to bring value to our audience, my friends. So we have no choice.
Whoa, we can be?
And your example about having the instructions before doing it, I spent all my last night to work on things about setting up reCAPTCHA and certain technical things for some of my websites on my projects. And I said, okay, and you know what? Generative AI was showing it, but the interface was not the same. So certain things that it was telling me to do wasn't there. So I needed to correct the generative AI to say, hey, how come? So with the agent, it will look at the page and will know to find where it is. Even if they change the interface, that's going to be seen and detected and go to the right place to make it happen. And having something like it can come back with the instructions as you well suggested. And from there, say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You're going to end up by having this API key at the right place. Okay, let's do it. And you can watch it. You can watch it doing it and you can stop it at the end. Or I say, before clicking on every button, just stop and ask me, okay, yes. But I would have saved that so much time last night. And I was a bit frustrated, but I fixed a few things early this morning. So I guess the sleep went well. So I was able to be smarter this morning.
Absolutely, Steve. I get you. And I get the same frustration. So there is a big difference between the tool that you're using and what this generative AI tool will provide you in terms of steps. So having that connection is something that is amazing. And we're definitely going to dive a little bit deeper into these technologies and bring some example in the future episodes about some tools that Steve and I took time to review, took time to work with. So we bring you some of our insights, some of our exclusive tips, if you will. So that's something to keep in mind, Steve. Any last ideas, Steve, before we close the show?
I would say you need to go back to the roots. I mentioned it a few times. Go back, look at your business, napkin sketch about one key process, because you are at one process you have one process a way to improve your business. And AI, agentic AI, machine learning, all the emerging technologies, or even the actual technologies, I mean, you need to go back to the basics. Those things won't do it for you. Eventually they will do certain things for you, but in the short term, you need to get it there. You need to get it on paper. You need to do with that infamous thing called process and figure it out to be able to improve it. So yeah, go ahead and just take a pen, a paper, and just draw it, write it, get it done ASAP. And that's going to make a difference in your understanding, and you'll be able to implement all these things in the near future.
Absolutely. As I always say, have fun while using technology.
Thanks, Mo.
Thank you, Steve.